Hello. Welcome and welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. Do I need to say that every time? I don't know. Yeah, okay. Thanks. Anyway, so we are talking about Aries season. Shouts out to you, March and April, of course, Aries. But if you have a March birthday, happy birthday. I'll say it again as we come into April, so I won't forget you guys. But we are talking about Aries. So I have the Aries card out here and I have the first house card out here because Aries is the ruler of the first house. So Aries, their motto is I am, because, you know, the first house talks about the self. Right? It's recognizing us, our physical being, our conscious beings in the world, right? And Aries is a fire sign. So, you know, it talks about motivation, you know, kind of initiation, trailblazing, like that kind of fiery creativity even. The tarot card for Aries is the Emperor. So, you know, like having this kind of authority to them. If you've met an Aries, you know exactly what that is, right? Because there's nobody that can kind of push through a situation and kind of, you know, like get all the ducks in a row or make decisions or just totally shut something down. Like an Aries, right? Not a bad thing. Of course, you know, like if you were living, you know, kind of more on the, on your true self side and not, you know, kind of in your shadow, then, you know, of course, that's not a bad thing. It's in your nature, right? You know, Aries is represented by the ram, and the symbolism of a ram talks about initiation, courage, boldness, being a bit spontaneous. They're also inspiring, right? Because like they just kind of, they do, you know, like Aries is, you know, or fire signs are, you know, kind of motivational type, you know, like literally putting a fire under your ass, right? So, you know, they are able to inspire other people to, you know, almost kind of like initiate, you know, their own lives and bring, you know, like manifest things into their own lives, because just by being who they are, right? Other people get inspired by that. I should have taken the Mars card out also, but the planet that rules the first house is Mars. So Aries is ruled by Mars, right? And Mars is that planet of initiation and actually going for it, right? It's like finding that motivation to do the things that you wanted to do. I believe I read somewhere that there was like a whole week in March where there wasn't a fire sign in the sky. So if there was a week in March, and I believe it was kind of more at the beginning of March because it's already happened, but if there was a week where you were just like, oh my, I cannot get my shit together and I just feel lethargic and I just want a nap, and maybe I'm feeling a little bit more emotional, or, you know, like I'm feeling a bit more grounded. I want to be out in nature, but I don't really want to actually do anything I'm supposed to do. That's because there wasn't a fire sign planet in the sky at that time. So, you know, we need fire to kind of kick our ass and get us going. And then, like I said, we have the first house here. Aries is representative of the first house. Your first house is going to be your rising sign. So I'm a Taurus sun, but my rising sign is Cancer. So my first house is Cancer. Also, I should have said at the beginning of this that you might feel a bit more of this energy if you have Aries as your sun, moon, rising sign, or any big planet or house placements. But again, kind of like I said, in the Pisces season reading, we're all going to go through it, right? Like we are all going to be in Aries season. So you will feel these energies to some extent. But of course, if you have, any other, you know, kind of planets in your first house, you might experience these energies a bit more. Did that make sense? Okay. So the first house talks about the body, right? It's our, like I was saying, it's our literal, like, physical 3D, us in this world, our consciousness in this world. So it deals with how we feel about our appearance. How do our bodies work? It's also, you know, like the mask that people see of you when they first meet you. So, you know, you can look into your ascendant sign and just kind of see if it fits maybe, you know, like the interactions that you have with people when they first meet you. It's how you relate to the world. It's routines even, right? So we're just going to like pull some cards. Like I said before, I don't really have like, I don't know where to put this. I could just kind of put it over here and give it a break from being on camera. We don't really have a spread that we're working with. That was a Queen of Wands, and now I kind of want to take it out. I'm working with the Crow Tarot. Where did she go? Because there she is. This is exactly, I think that's just kind of interesting too, because like in the Pisces reading, the King of Cups came out, which is the Pisces card. And the Queen of Wands came out, which is the Aries card in the Minor Arcana. So I think that's fucking cool. I'm going to shuffle these a few more times and just kind of see, what happens. But these cards are a little bit larger, so I probably can't fit as many as I did for Pisces. But this is exact. So, you know, when we talk about the queens in the court cards, the queens, when you get to the queen energy, and it is an energy, it doesn't have to do anything with gender. But when we get to the queen, we are individually embodying the energy of that suit. So it's like, you know, like we're feeling it. We're understanding it in our own bodies, in our own consciousness. And then when we get to the king is when you start sharing that energy with your community, right? Because the kings are generally, right, like overseeing a kingdom. So it just goes back to even the first house of self and just kind of embodying, you know, I mean, this would be like a good time to, you know, maybe even start like a new kind of self-care routine. And self-care can literally be anything from journaling to reading, you know, like taking a bath, giving yourself some quiet time, like away from family, even asking for that, because I know that's hard to do. You know, it could, of course, have to do with like, you know, some sort of routine as far as movement goes, whatever, you know, of course, feels good to you in your body. Right. But it's just, it's nourishing these vessels, right? These meat suits that we have to occupy while we're, on this planet. Right. So, it's all about you though, and not in a selfish way, right? Because when we are taking care of ourselves and we're better able to take care of other people, like when your cup is full, you can fill other people's cups. And, you know, when we talk about wands, it talks about action and communication. So, you know, like even just kind of working on communicating. Actually, I think I might just kind of keep shuffling and just kind of see what happens. We're going with what feels good. As always. So, you know, the Queen of Wands, you know, like creativity, right? Like it could even be kind of getting back into a creative hobby that you enjoyed. It could be writing. It could be, you know, if you've been thinking about wanting to start a podcast, you know, I mean, like what it can be anything that kind of lights your internal fire. This is everything to do with you at this point, not necessarily other people. We have a lion on here, you know, like the lion is represented on the strength card, which I believe is Leo, but still fire sign, right? So, you know, just kind of having some internal strength to maybe even set a boundary, right? Like I was saying, like, you know, just kind of asking for some quiet time at night, you know, like asking for quiet time in the morning, or again, of course, it would be whatever fits your situation. We have the moon. Oh my God, look who came out. I think we'll try to get just, of course, because we really only have room for one more. We have the High Priestess under here. And then we have the moon. The moon, I believe, is Cancer or Pisces. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let me see, is that in here? Yeah, okay. Maybe we can bring you back. There you go. There you go. Is this little guy in there? I can't like tell, I can't see all that well what's going on. So, dude. Beautiful. This is so cool. I remember being just kind of so amazed even about how the Pisces read went, like the Pisces season read, and I'm like just as whatever the word is, hello, where'd my words go? I'm just as blown away even by, you know, like how this one is kind of turning out, because, okay, Queen of Wands, we talked about her a ton, right? By her, I mean they, it's an energy. And then we have the moon. And the moon card talks about, I'm getting this feeling of like floating in space. It's, you know, it's the things that haven't been brought to our awareness yet. It's the subconscious. It's, you know, kind of all these energies kind of working in the background. It has a lot to do with intuition as well. So it's just, it's really like this trust of the unknown. And maybe, you know, like with it coming out, there could just be this invitation to really kind of like surrender to the unknown. Like maybe, you know, like there may be some situations in your life that, again, you know, like just all of the information is not available to you yet, right? Like it's not necessarily completed yet, or it hasn't all just kind of come out yet. And we have the 5 of Swords here. That talks about mental conflict, mental anguish. Like this could just be something you could be trying and have been trying to, you know, kind of be in this energy of really trying to initiate something, get something going. You know, I mean, like it could even be you starting a business. You know, maybe it's just kind of going a little bit slower than you thought. But, you know, and, you know, when we get to the swords talk about our intellect, our thoughts, how we perceive our realities. It also talks about ego, right? Because our egos live in our minds. So it's, you know, like, again, how is our ego, filtering the situation to where, you know, like I'm viewing my reality in a certain way. So this is, you know, when we get to the 5, it talks about conflict, but it's also a period of transition. The 5s are always temporary. It's definitely easy to get stuck in the 5 of Swords energy because, you know, we just get on that like hamster wheel of all of these what ifs and, you know, all of the past disappointment that we've felt and all of the things, right? I mean, it talks a little bit about competition as well, like, you know, kind of mental competition, like if you're trying to kind of outwit somebody or kind of, you know, use your knowledge in a way that, you know, kind of causes a conflict with other people. But then there's this shift that's happening. This could even be, you know, because Aries is from March 21st to April 19th, right? So this could even be like the first half of Aries, and this could be the second half of Aries, because then all of a sudden, like we have this judgment, we have this transformation. There's a decision being made here. You know, I mean, judgment talks about, you know, like the phoenix rising from the ashes, right? Like whatever this situation is or has been, and I feel like I was saying this to somebody else, one of the monthly readings, but whatever, you know, like this situation is or has been, it's kind of like it had to go the way that it went so that this transformation could take place. And this could have to do with money or your job. Again, you know, I mean, it could have to do with yourself, and we'll get there. We have the King of Wands. Hello, right? Like, so now we're talking about an outward expression. This is putting yourself out there, But again, when we get to the Kings, this is in a position of authority also. So it is some sort of kind of leadership role. Like, it doesn't even necessarily have to be that, like, you know, you're going to be a manager or supervisor or whatever, but people would just be looking at you more as like, holy shit, look at you. You did it, right? Like, look at you doing the thing. But this is, you know, like kind of getting even recognition for the things that you have done. I think it's so cool that we're talking about Aries and the King and Queen came out. I don't know. Like, I think that's so cool. And then the Ace of Pentacles. You know, when we talk about Pentacles, we're talking about literal money. I mean, I think that's just the easiest way to, like physically represent abundance, right? Is in the form of money. And it very well could be, but it's an earth sign also. So it talks about the physical 3D world. So it talks about the things that you can touch. So it does have to do with your physical body. It does have to do with your health, right? Like, it does have to do with your routines. It has to do with, you know, maybe even the way that you make your money. You know, I mean, the King of Wands is, like I was saying, you know, definitely more in a leadership position, but he's an entrepreneur also. So again, you know, like, you could have already launched a new business. You could be thinking about it, getting everything that you need ready to do that. And this is like, you know, an expression of that. So we had this transformation that took you from the Queen of Wands to the King of Wands. So you're sharing that with other people and it's being well reciprocated because, you know, then we have the Ace of Pentacles and that's new money. You know, like some people say that it's, you know, kind of even a gift from the universe, right? In the form of monetary something. But we're no longer in this 5 of Swords energy. We're in this Ace of Pentacles. Like, okay, so how are we going to operate on the day to day? Like, how are we going to treat our bodies? How are we going to even, like, how are we going to maximize our time? Because again, you know, I mean, like, Pentacles talks about even the time that it takes for you to put energy into something. So again, like, how am I going to use my time? Am I going to use my time to kind of build this on this idea that I have for a business? Or am I going to, you know, kind of start applying for more jobs or really just even kind of taking on the energy of the King and Queen of Pentacles when you go into interviews and be like, I'm a bad bitch and you want me to work here. And you want me to work here for my budget, like for what I deem to be appropriate for my reimbursement of my time, right? Like, I don't want to make less than blue blam bloom. And I'm going to add 10,000 to that when they ask me what I want to be making for a salary, right? Like, there was this shift and it might have been because, you know, like, there's this kind of surrender that happens in the unknown and almost even just going up in there yourself and being like, if I'm going to surrender to the unknown, I'm going to go up in there and I'm going to start co-creating. I'm going to start, you know, like, meditating on, you know, the things that I want to bring into my world. I'm going to start manifesting on, you know, like, how I want my life to feel. How do I want to wake up in the morning? Like, how do I want to feel when I wake up in the morning? How do I want to feel when that money hits my bank account? Right? Like, so you could very well be like, I'll surrender to this unknown, but I'm going to be in there. I am going to be in there, helping yourself, right? No longer in this Five of Swords energy, Ace of Pentacles, only Ace of Pentacles, right? And then we have the Page of Swords behind there. Page of Swords is a bit cocky. Again, you know, like I was saying with court cards, we even have the Knight of Wands coming up after this. But when we talk about the pages are kind of the younger of the energies. So it's, you know, adolescence to like 20s. So, you know, it's, again, like even just kind of having this kind of cocky attitude, but not arrogant, right? Like there's a difference between knowing you're the shit and smelling like it, right? And even, again, like coming out of this Five of Swords energy of, you know, kind of this mental conflict and maybe feeling a bit competitive. This is understanding, you know, like, this is my sword. This is what I need to be going for. And then, like I said, we have the Knight of Wands behind that. The Knight of Wands is playful. There's a lot of joy. Right? I mean, like we have this crow that's kind of playing with this horse here, right? Like, almost even, you know, like since you kind of surrendered to this and even started co-creating, like you're almost kind of finding like ways to have fun in the process, or just kind of, you know, almost just even recognizing the, like having a more optimistic attitude. That could even be just good enough. They can be a bit impulsive, though. So, of course, you know, like, and a little bit impatient. So, again, you know, I mean, those are just kind of like the lower energies of the suit. So, but I also like how they're both kind of going the same way, right? Like, and then we have the Sun. And the Sun is every good feeling you could ever think of and have is what the Sun represents. Also fire sign card, right? I mean, it's like the literal life force. It's what even gives us the ability to be I am. Because a lot of things wouldn't exist without the Sun, right? So absolutely beautiful. You know, like this journey through Aries season, there seem, again, like, I mean, even just having this Judgment card, there's definitely some sort of transformation going on, whether that's, you know, kind of personal within yourself, or whether that's also including, you know, kind of your outside situation. There seems to be kind of this movement away from at least the Five of Swords. So really, you know, like even just kind of visualizing, you know, like that motivation that comes with fire, you know, even just focusing even on that, like a little bit, you know, like on those days where you're just like, ugh, I don't want to. We all have those days. I have those days more often than not, but just focusing on, you know, like pulling up that fire a little bit within yourself. Beautiful. I'm going to leave it there. Thank you so much for joining me again. I'll be talking to you soon. Bye.